Good morning, everyone. I wanted to hop on real quick today before I head out to the gym to cover the a trade I took this morning on the E-mini S&P 500 market. This was I was away from my desk, so I was monitoring price on my phone, waiting for price to give me something that I could work with. And eventually I did get it and was able to secure a quick 3R, in just a matter of minutes. So I want to kind of go through real quick, like what we've seen so far on price action today and the setup that I took. So as you can see, we're on the 5-minute chart right now. Actually, I'm going to back up to the 15 just to. So as you can see, we gapped down lower to start the week. We made a low on Sunday. And then we kind of Monday we kind of trended up. We broke above the weekly open gap. We were traced a little bit into Friday's range, which was a very large range day, due to the news volatility that day. So we had Monday's high here. We kind of consolidated overnight, and in the Asia session, not much really happened. There were a couple of trades I marked up just because I happened to see them hindsight when I was marking up charts before I went to bed. But you see, once London session started here, we kind of made a quick low, and then we rallied higher, taking out Monday's high. And we had, now I'm going to go ahead and zoom down to the 5. So this is that rally higher here. That was pretty much the entirety of the London session. So we took an area of buy-side liquidity, and then we left these relative equal highs going into the New York AM session. So I was thinking originally, and I covered this in the live updates on my Telegram channel, is I was expecting this London session low to get taken, and then to essentially find a trade in the equilibrium of this Asian range. So below this low, so I wanted price to come down, sweep this low, find, a fair value gap here, and then retrace higher, taking out the London session lows. And then from there, we could have either continued higher or rolled over to the downside. And as we can see, price basically went into this area below the London session low and then just kept going. Pretty much from 9:30 until almost 11, price just basically sold off continuously. And we had news at 10 a.m., so I didn't enter a trade prior to the 10 a.m. news. I wanted to see if, we got any bullish momentum with the news. So, price never did give me an entry to go long from there. And my dog had a vet appointment at 10 o'clock. So basically from about 9:45-ish, so around right here, this little up close candle here, from there till pretty much about, a few minutes ago, I was, in my car away from my desk. So I was monitoring price, on my phone. And as you can see, looking at the 5-minute chart, price just kept falling. It broke through all of these levels of liquidity that I had from this week. And then it got to this teal shaded area, which is a daily fair value gap. And we pretty much almost traded all the way, to close that in. And then we've got this black line here at 39.59. I called that out in my Telegram group as the next area of sell side, if we're going to keep bearish, that's the target. But basically I was waiting because, with a large bearish range like this, at some point we should trade back up. And I'm thinking at this point, we're going to trade back up into the weekly open gap. We should at least reach 40, 20, 75, which is the equilibrium of today's range so far. And then this gold line is the weekly open price. So chances are we should get back above the 40-20s. I'm thinking, ideally, which actually, let me mark this while I'm looking at it. We've got another 5-minute fair value gap right there. So really, this more intense, like reddish pink area is really the area that I would love to see price come up there, and we have a market structure break to then continue the bearish trend to the downside. I think at this point, I assume that this up here is the high of the week. And I won't even entertain price going back to take those highs unless we can break and close back above the weekly open gap. But I do fully anticipate, price to basically continue up, maybe do a thing like this and then sell off. That's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. But anyway, so going back to where I found my trade, I don't want to make this video too long. So basically we rejected down here. So I went down to the 1 minute time frame. And as you can see, this makes it a lot clearer as to what I found. Now, obviously we were bearish all morning. So a buy here would be counter trend. So basically, we had a little consolidation here, another expansion lower, and then we had a bullish retracement back into the range. We took out this high here. So I was like, okay, so we might have had a bullish market structure shift. So what I wanted to see is I wanted to see price give me my entry pattern, which is essentially this, right? So we broke a high. We're in an area of sell side liquidity, and that's important. We've taken a bunch of sell side liquidity. So at this point, we would be seeking buy side liquidity. So we had a bullish displacement up. We had a slight retracement, another bullish retracement up, right? So we had this low, and I viewed this low as like, okay, when price came down and broke this low, this was an engineered liquidity low. So price came down and took it, and then took this high, and you can see not by much, it basically just wicked above it. But at that point, my eyes immediately went down here to this fair value gap, and I set my entry for the low of that, 16 ticks, which is 4 handles, for the stop loss, which in reality, you could have, put it down here, but I'm actually trying to move more to the setup that ICT talked about in the third part of his End series, to where in reality, all he recommends going after is 21 and 16. That's really what he recommends, is right there, because he's like, you can catch that type of move, which is essentially 5 handles. You can catch that multiple times a day. So there's plenty of opportunities to get it. I, still being a bit bullheaded, I guess, I like to shoot for 3R because, that way it gives me more wiggle room in my win rate. But basically the way I do this is if I can, I do the 16 ticks for the stop loss. And then at 21 ticks, if price kind of starts to stall out a little bit, I'll usually take a partial there and move my stop to break even. And then, if the rest runs for take profit, then so be it. Or if it stops me at entry. But so basically, as you can see, this whole trade it triggered at 11:26, and by 11:34, it hit full take profit. And really, by 11:27, it almost hit the full take profit. And since I was on my mobile phone, I saw my limit trigger. And then I checked my phone basically like right about like here, around like 39.95, 39.96. And I saw the vet was coming out to talk to me, to wrap up and, everything. So I basically closed the trade there because I didn't want it to, go back on me, and I couldn't take a partial and all that since I was, going to be having a conversation. So I basically just collapsed my whole actual execution, and I shared that MT4 execution on my Telegram channel. But as you can see on TradingView, I basically, let it run. It hit the full 3R take profit, and then basically, kind of fell back over. And I think basically what this is, because again, this is the 1 minute time frame. So I think we're still kind of accumulating here. And we might, I'm kind of thinking from here, we might, still come down and, maybe sweep below this, and then maybe, do this, something like that, and then, maybe something like that could be the actual plan. So we'll see, basically for something like this, the lunch hour would retrace back down, and then maybe rally back up, and then maybe to start the PM session, look to go an opportunity to go long from there. So maybe for the PM session, we get a rally back up towards the weekly open. And then I think tomorrow, being Wednesday, with it being an NFP week, tomorrow is going to be my last live trading day, I think. I'll still be on the charts observing price Thursday and Friday. But I don't think I'm going to place any live trades, especially on Friday, because that kind of goes against my rules. I'm not trying to get chopped up in the NFP volatility. So basically that's what I wanted to quickly go over today was the 3R trade that I took today. This is basically the kind of setup that I'm trying to move towards, is these quick, just in and out 3Rs that I can take multiple times in a day. The goal is to get one in the AM session, one in the PM session each day of the week. So potentially if I do that, that would be 6R a day times 5. That would be 30R potential in a week would be the goal. And I usually only risk 0.25% per trade. So, divide that by 4, that would be what, 7.25% a week gain, which would be phenomenal, so that's really what I'm trying to hone in on, is these quick little 3R, in and out trades. So that's where you'll kind of see my trading style kind of keep morphing to. And, obviously I only focus on, E-mini S&P, is pretty much the only market I focus on at this point. So, so that's all I got. Would love to hear, any thoughts or feedback or anything you have, in the comments for this video. The link to my Telegram channel is in the description for this video. And if you like the content I'm putting out there, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and, subscribe to my Telegram channel, where I'm a lot more active. I basically live, sent messages live throughout the entire morning as levels were breaking and, when I started, when I noticed support and all that. So I pretty much, almost like live, tweet, for lack of a better word, on Telegram, the entire time I'm watching price. So I, and I'm making these to, like I said, the main goal of my channels is to basically kind of allow a space for me to kind of think out loud. And, but obviously I hope others can gain insight and things like that as well. Eventually in the future, I am hoping to, move into providing signals, doing a bit more education content, but I want to get consistently profitable first, on my own trading and stuff before I, cross that bridge, because I'm not trying to take people's money or anything like that without, being able to deliver. So subscribe on YouTube, join me in my Telegram channel if you like this content. And otherwise I'll, talk to you guys soon, and, stay safe and happy trading. Thanks.